Alright, welcome back. On this episode I'm going to be showing you how to actually create a pad footing. So I'm going to be showing you how to create a pad footing, and I'm going to show you two ways to actually do that. You can either create your pad footing from here using the automatic detailer, or you use this one. So either ways, I'll be taking you through that process right away. Okay. Alright, so the first thing we'll do here now is I'll quickly come to this drop down here, and then I'll click on my pad footing detailer. So if I click on this pad footing detailer, I'm going to delete all of this here. Let's start afresh. So I'll go name this base 1, and I'll click on OK. So the moment I click OK, you can see the dimension and the reinforcement here. So if I click on this dimension here, all I need to do is to specify the size of this particular footing. Now because I want to reproduce what I have here, in this drawing, there's no way I can display the other drawing I want to show because of this. So but it is actually 1200 by 1200, and then the footing depth, I'm going to be using 350, and then the cover 40 40 40. The column that is actually going to be acting on this footing is 230 by 230. Now you can see all of this, is actually giving us a preview of how this looks like, what this software is going to generate for us when we click OK and we click on draw. Now if you look at this, you will see H is telling us the distance from the center of this footing to the center of this column. So if it is going to be acting on the center of this footing, there's no need for we typing any dimension here. We can leave it at 0. If this is also going to be at this point, there's no need of putting any dimension here. We'll leave it at 0, except in a case where the column is not acting at the center. In that case, you can just type in, you can actually fill in the distance from the center to where this column is going to be resting directly. So once you fill in all of this information, your dowel bar cover, I want to adopt 25. Okay, so the reinforcement input, which will bring me here, this now is showing me okay, so basically the reinforcement we are providing is for bottom reinforcement only, because this is singly reinforced, it is not top and bottom. Okay, so in that case I'm going to leave it at bottom reinforcement only, and then the reinforcement size is Y12. This reinforcement size as well is Y12. So instead of using BUL, I can use bar 1, bar 2. Okay, and so I'm going to leave these bars as it is, and then I will be showing you basically the based on the standard of bars that we are supposed to actually adopt. Okay, so if I click on OK, I'm going to re-edit it once this is generated. So you will see that this base has been displayed here. So all I need to do is asking me for the base point. So if I click here and then I will click a new point, I click here, and then it's asking me, do you require to move, rotate, copy? I will just type N for no. Okay, so I leave it like this. But if you look at this very well, based on the type of bar that was there, this is not what I want. So I am going to just simply just double click on this. If I double click on it, and then the bar I'm supposed to use is bar 38. So this is the bar shape. So all of these shape codes, over time, as you keep using it, you get to understand we have all of these shapes. These are their codes. Okay, you can scroll down, you will see you have a lot of shapes. All of these shapes, these are their codes. So 38 is what we use for our base. Okay, so we are going to be using 38, and then I will click on OK. I will double click on this. Sorry, I need to specify the first, that is our A. You know, this column is actually, this base is actually a 1200 by 1000. That's a square base. Okay, then we have these shape codes, which I'm going to be taking you through. You can see, for if we scroll down here, for our pad, now our pad footing, it is actually greater than or equals to 12 times D. So this 12 times D means the size, the diameter of the reinforcement. So what is the diameter of the reinforcement we are using for this design? Now the diameter of this reinforcement is Y12. Now if that is correct, all I need to do now is to type in 12 times 12 will give us 144. Okay, so if that is correct, I will come back to my CAD RC. Here I will type in, if I type in 144 is correct, but if I go below 144, let's say I type in 120 for example, you see dimension A of 120 is too small. So it's actually there to always guide you whenever you are going wrong. Okay, so it's there to guide you, because this is actually based on the British standard. Okay, so this 130 is the minimum I can go, but based on my calculation it's telling me 144. Now it is actually customary to use a multiple of 25, 25, 25. So because this is actually giving me 144, I'm going to approximate it to 150. Okay, so I'm going to make this 150, and I'll make this 150, and then the length of this B, look at the preview here, the length from here to here, if you subtract your concrete cover from the left hand side to the right hand side, so you know we had 1200. By the time you subtract 1200 from 1200 minus 80, is going to give you a value of 1120. So I can simply type in 120 here, 1120, and I will click on OK, and I will click on OK. Now you will discover that this bar shape has completely changed. So similarly I can do it for this as well. All I need to do is just to change this to 38, and I will come to my first bar here and I will type in the value because it's a square base. Okay, and then I will click on OK. Yes, and I will click on OK. Alright, so you can see what we have here. So but this line that is here is just a guide, just to, it's actually very irrelevant. We can actually delete it. Then all of this, we can simply even change the colors if we probably do not want it the way it is actually displaying. We can change this color when you come to your home. When you come here, you click here, and let's say I change this to red. I'll click on OK. You can see it has simply changed. Okay, you can as well change the color of your reinforcement. Sorry, if I click once, I'll click on this drop down, I'll click here, I'll click here, and I will change this to blue, and I click on OK. Okay, so you can see the color here has actually changed. So you can do similarly for all of them like that, but you can see this one does not generate a cross section for this base. The other one here is the one that will generate the cross section for our base. So if I click on this drop down and I come to my pad base detailer, if I click on it, I will name this base 2, and I will click on OK. Now I will click on default configuration item. All I need to do is to type in the grade of concrete, even though this grade of concrete, as far as this CAD RC is very irrelevant, because this is detailing, it is not design that we are doing. But the concrete cover is very, very relevant because this is detailing. Okay, in your detailing you must consider the concrete cover. So all of this information, you can just fill in the information based on actually what you are considering in your detailing, probably because of the exposure to your reinforcement, probably because of fire hazard and all of that. So you can actually that will help you as the engineer to actually determine the right cover that you should actually adopt. So if I click on next, now it's going to bring me here. Now here I can specify whether it's a single or is this doubly reinforced. You can see if I click on double, another reinforcement is appearing at the top. So but I want this to be singly reinforced. The longitudinal bar shape is 20 based on what is showing me here, but I can actually change that to 38. So I will click on next. When I click on next, I will specify the cross section of my footing. My footing is 1200 by 1200, for example, and then the base thickness is, that's the depth of the footing, is 350, and then the size of the column coming on it is actually 230 by 230. Okay, so I don't want to specify any offset on this. This offset means F and G and H. The H is our kicker height. The kicker is actually that little concrete that is always at the top of your ground floor, which we call the German floor. It helps in aligning the column that will be coming on it when you are doing your form work or something. Okay, so it helps to align it better. So the kicker should not always be less than 75. You can go way above 75. Okay, if it is a circular column, all you need to do is just to check it as a circular column. But it's not a circular column, I'm going to leave it as a rectangular or a square column. I'll leave it as it is, and then I will click on next. So when I click on next, now it brings me here to the base reinforcement. Now you can see this reinforcement, it is actually a high yield. I would like to make it Y, and I will change the reinforcement to Y12 at a spacing of 150 spacing. So irrespective of whatever spacing you want to actually adopt based on your design that was given to you, probably, or the design that you were able to get from your analysis. When you run the analysis, then the design tells you the size of the reinforcements, that you are supposed to adopt, and the spacing of those reinforcements. Now I will click on next. Here the corner bars as well are going to be as it is, y12, y12. Okay, so although this is actually a square column and is a 230 by 230 column, and the minimum number of reinforcement you provide for a column are 4, so this 4 you cannot even edit it. It's not editable. Okay, so except in a case where you have probably up to 6 number of reinforcement, you can specify the sidebar, how many of those sidebars you are going to have. Okay, so if you are going to be having 6, that means you are adding 2. If you are going to be having 8, that means you are adding 2 plus another 2. Okay, so you can see what we have at the D side. We have 0. At the E side, which is here, we also have 0. So if you want to add 1, as if it is 6, you have at the D you have 1, at the E you have 1. If it is 8, that means you are having 2 at the D side, then you are also having another 2 at the E side. So however, irrespective, no matter the number of the reinforcement you are having in your column based on your design, is just for you to position them as the proper way you are supposed to position them. So once you have been able to put in all the necessary information, all you need to do is just to click on draw. So if I click on draw, I will just it will ask me to select a new point, and this is where I want this to be displayed, and then I will display this one, and then I display this. So you can see it will automatically bring out your plan view. It will show you the cross section, and it will show you the cross section of your column as well. So you can see all that the software has been able to generate for us as regards to this base automatically. So similarly, now we are going to do this same base using these tools that are here. Very important. And then we are definitely going to be using these tools to actually generate all of our structural members. You are going to see how we are going to play around with these things. Okay, so most of the basic reinforcement, you need to take the shape, and the shape codes are what you really need to put in mind. Okay, so but as you proceed in the training and as you proceed in the practice, you will become very familiar with most of the shape codes. They have numbers. Okay, like you see in this base, we use shape code 38, and I think we use shape code 37 as well. So let's do something very quickly. Let's say we want to create a pad footing. I will type in the size of the footing. Let's say I have a footing of 12 by 12 here. Now I will create an offset of 40. So you are going to see how I'm going to demonstrate all of this right away. Now this is the shape of this our footing. The next thing I need to do is to create a range new mark. This area you need to really pay much attention to it. Ranging new mark is specifying in terms of spacing the number of reinforcement. When it comes to new mark, is just pointing out your reinforcement. Okay, so this ranging new mark is actually used mostly when you are considering a design detailing of your slab, of your footing, of your staircase. Okay, you are going to see how we are going to demonstrate that. And then this new mark is used mainly when it comes to your column. Okay, so we'll demonstrate that right away. So if I click on the range new mark, what the range new mark does, it brings out, you can see we have the single indicator. As we proceed, you are going to understand all of this, because I'm going to be using most of them as we proceed in the detailing of our structural members. So but for our part footing here, now we are going to use the single indicator. So all I need to do is to click on that single indicator. This is the reinforcement I want to use, bar shape code 38, and then the spacing for this I want to use 150, and then I can name this B1, and then the first here, similarly just like the way we did for the automatic, I'm going to use 1 2 here I'm going to use 150 here. Okay, so you can see all that has been inserted. Then if I click on OK, I will select, it's asking me to side view outer start point. So the first start point is this, and then if I hover my mouse around here, it's telling me here enter outer dimension A. So what I will do is click enter. It's telling me enter outer dimension B. Now because I have already specified the length of this particular reinforcement bar, so there is no need of me typing in any dimension for the reinforcement. Okay, so I will click enter again. So you can see automatically the software has actually bring out this reinforcement bar. Then it's asking me to start of bar range. Okay, so I will click here as my start bar range, and then I will have to specify an offset for this. To specify an offset for this, I will type in let's say I type in 20 and I enter. It's asking me to pick the end of range here. Then I will click here, asking me for another offset. I will enter 25 and I'll enter. Then it's telling me to press enter to continue. I will press enter. It's telling me that I should label my bar. So if I want to label my bar, I will type yes. If I don't want to label this bar, I will type no. So to type yes, all I need to do is to type Y and enter. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is asking me to, after typing Y for yes, because I want to label it, sorry, it's actually hanged. So I'm going to pick a point, and I'll pick here and I'll pick here. Now you can see that it has actually bring out this information of this particular bar for me. It's telling me this is 9y16 at 32. Okay, so similarly I can do for this other way. Now what I need to do is I am not going to pick I'm not going to range new mark, because I already have a bar that is similar to this already. So I am going to use the range new set. Okay, so if I click on range new set, I will click on continue with new set. Now I will pick this bar, then I will click on single. Then I will do similarly what I did before, but the information is already there because it is a new set. Then the spacing is the same, and then this is base 2, this is bar 2, bottom bar 2, this is bottom bar 1, this is bottom bar 2, and I will click on OK. Then I will Then I will now click on this first start point, and I will click enter, and I'll click enter again. You can see it has generated that for me. Then I will click on this point, then I will type in 20, enter. I will pick the end here, type 20, enter, and I will enter again. Then it's asking me for the label. I will say yes, I want the label. Then it's asking me to pick the point where I want to position this label. So I want this label to be positioned, I want to pick this point to bring out my label, then I will position it this way. Okay, this is not straight, so I'm going to delete it, and then I will erase bar view. If I click on erase bar set, it's going to delete the entire reinforcement plus this call out. Okay, so I'm going to click on erase bar view. I will click on erase bar view. So to call this out, I can as well do it manually by just clicking here, and I will bring it out, and then I will right click. Then because I already have this reinforcement here, I will just simply click on add bar reference. So if I click on add bar reference, I will click this one here, and then I will click here, erase bar view. Okay, label an existing bar, okay, I'm going to label an existing bar. I'll click on label an existing bar, I will click here, and then I will bring it here, I will drop it here. So this is basically me labeling an existing bar. So it's the same. It's either you label it automatically while you are inserting this, or you can just use it manually and insert that as well. So you can see this is actually how to manually generate or come up with your base. This is mainly just for reference because of our concrete cover. We may not have need for it anymore, just to delete it. Okay, but as you can see here, I do not have a base cross section. Okay, so I can create a cross section for this base. Okay, how do I do that? To create a cross section for this base is just for me to use the rectangle. I can type in 1200 by 350 depth. So this is what I have. So I can similarly just place this 115 to get how the shape of this column should look like. I can erase this portion. So by simply having this, I will also have a cover of 40. Let's say I have a 40 concrete cover, and then we can just simply have a blinding here of 50. So there just indicates that we have a blinding here. No. All right, so from here now I can actually create a cross section of this particular footing quickly. Now to create a cross section of this particular footing that we have here, all I need to do now is to come to here. I'm going to use range. I'm going to use add view. Okay, because in this case we are not going to range. Like I said, when you are dealing with range, you are dealing with bar spacing, you are spacing. Okay, but when you are dealing with view, because this, when it comes to range, you are dealing with spacing, where you have a spacing, 200 spacing, 150 spacing, 300 spacing, like that. But when you are dealing with the view, you are not dealing with spacing specifically. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that right away in order for you to understand the point I'm trying to make. And when I add view, it is actually not going to be represented in the bar bending schedule. Okay, it will just be more like an ordinary drawing, because we already have this existing here, and the software automatically has already recognized this and is going to generate this with the report for us. Okay, so we don't want to go through that entire process of duplicating this all over again. So that is we having extra, which is not going to be correct. Okay, so in order for us to generate this, I will use the add view range, and I'm going to select pick bar set, which is this, and then I will check this is okay. I'll click it's okay. Then I will click on the side, which is this. Then I will click enter, and then you can see this is upside down, which is not what I want. Alright, as you can see, this has generated this, but it's displaying upside down, which is not what I want. You can as well simply just even mirror this, and then it goes back the right way it's supposed to look. Okay, so all you need to do if you want to mirror this is type mi, your normal mirror tool in your AutoCAD, just mirror, and then it's back. Okay, so similarly you can have these other runners here displayed here. So all you need to do is to as well click on now, because we are having a runner, it's not longer going to be view add view, it's going to be range add view. Okay, so you need to take note of that whenever you are considering a spacing in between reinforcement, your spacing. Okay, it is the range view you actually make use of. So here I'm going to click on general run, and I will as well adopt everything that is here, and then I will click on OK, and it will ask me to start of bar range. I want it to actually start from here, and it will ask me start of bar range or enter to select bar leg. So the offset for this bar range, I will leave it as, you can see is 0 here. I will go and leave it, I will type in 0 to enter, and then so pick end of range, I'm going to pick this point, then I will also enter, which is our 0. Then it's telling me select side of line bar to be placed, so I want it to be placed up here. Are you sure you want to continue? I will type Y for yes. So you can see my reinforcement runners is actually displaying here as well. So when we come to the columns properly, I'm going to be showing you how to actually introduce your reinforcement for your column shape. Okay, so you are going to see your starter bar, how it's actually going to come out. Okay, so this is basically how to generate that. Then you can as well even create the column cross section if you want it to be shown 230 by 230, and you can specify the cover of since it's a column, you say 25, and then here you have to specify the links, and you specify the reinforcement on the column. So at this point we are not going to go into that because we don't have our column here yet. Okay, so in the next video I will basically be showing you how to come up with your beam. Okay, your single span beam.